So for these three examples, I want to go through what the idea of a function is. Now these are relations, but they're relations that I want to decide if they are functions or not. So in these sets, we have three ordered pairs each. So we're going to look at them separately, and the way that you know if you have a function is you will not repeat a domain value. In other words, no x values will repeat. If you repeat an x value, it is not a function, it is just a relation or a set. So, in this first example, we have the following set of coordinates. And looking at these three, we can see that the x value is different in all three. So, this is a function. You might be wondering, well, how is it a function if we repeated this value of 2? It's perfectly okay to repeat y values, just not x values. In this next example, we check our x values of 0, 1, and 2. This is also a function. You might be wondering, well, we repeated this value of 1 here and here, and this value of 2 here and here, so how can it be a function? As long as the x value was not the repeated value, it's okay. So take a moment, pause the video, and see if you can determine if this last example is or is not a function. Okay, so trying this out, notice we have x equals 0, x equals 1, x equals 0 again. This is not a function. Because we repeated x equals 0. That is not allowed. This is just a set or a relation of coordinates. The last thing to cover here, since we're talking about these functions, is function notation. You will often see problems that say something like y equals x plus 2. Once you've proven that y is a function, you can replace it using this function notation definition. If y is a function of x, then you can say y equals f of x. Meaning in this example, we would have f of x equals x plus 2 instead of y equals x plus 2. And the reason why we do this is instead of saying, what does y equal when x equals 5? What does y equal when x equals negative 4? Instead, we can just ask, what is f of 3? What is f of 3 is the same thing as saying, what is y when x equals 3? It's a faster way to deal with these problems. In math, we're all about getting things done faster, and this is why we're using function notation. It's faster to work with. So, f of 3 means take your value of 3 and plug it in for x, which gives us 3 plus 2, which leaves us with 3 plus 2 is 5. So f of 3 is 5. It's very important that you leave the f of 3 in your solution. This is the equivalent of writing out a written statement. F of 3 equals 5 is your way of saying when x equals 3, the function value or y value is equal to 5. We'll cover more functions in another video, but this is just to establish the definition of function notation and how functions work.